Hi, this is Lou at Foothills Properties, and today I would like to talk about what happens when the tenant, or if the tenant, does not pay the rent when due on the first of the month. The tenant under our lease has 3 days of grace, which means that the rent has to be in by the 3rd, or at the very latest when we open the door on the 4th day of the month. At that point, if the rent isn't here or it isn't in our drop box, they're delinquent, and they receive what is known as a 5-day letter. In some jurisdictions, it's called a 3-day quit or pay. We call it a 5-day out here. That means that at that point, which is usually the 4th, 5th, or the 6th at the latest, depending on when those dates fall in the business week, the tenant is sent a 5-day letter. It's sent by certified mail, and under the rules of the court, that means they have 10 days to pay the rent, or we will start an eviction process or ask for a special detainer action. We send the information on the lease, the tenant, the amounts owed, to our attorney. He has his process server actually serve the tenant and file the case in court. 5 to 6 days after that's filed, we're in court before a judge. Generally speaking, the tenant doesn't show up, and we get a judgment. Many times when they show up, they admit that they've been late, and they explain their reasons. Generally, it doesn't count. The judge will fine for the landlord 98.9% of the time. Once in a while, there's an extenuating situation, and the judge asks to hear that case later. But generally, we get the decision, the judgment. The tenant then is given another 5 or 6 days to vacate, at which point, if they're not out, we can serve what is known as a writ of restitution, and we call the constable when we meet the constable and a locksmith at the house, and the constable ushers them out. The locksmith changes the locks. We have the keys, and then we can work with the tenant over a 2 or 3 or 4 day period to allow them to remove their possessions. It's much better to let the tenant remove their possessions than to store them, because that just delays the process of getting your house back up on the market. If you have any questions or concerns or would like to discuss the eviction process, please give me a call at the office or send me an email, and I'll be happy to help you. I actually do have a printout drafted by an attorney in Phoenix who's authorized us to share it with you, and I'm happy to give it to you. But what I just said is the basic bottom line. Thank you. Have a great Tucson day.